Good afternoon. Welcome back to West Ham Irons United. I am Anton, and you are with me for a live West Ham daily. Thank you very much for joining us and continuing to support the channel by just tuning in and watching all of our shows. Of course, we're bringing to you daily content. We have committed to doing it Monday to Friday, 1:15 p.m.-ish, of course, with all of the other content that we're doing. And we are excited because we've got a lot of really cool plans coming up over the summer, with the potential to launch some stuff maybe over the summer and into the new year. And so already, into the new season. And already people are already asking us, like, can we pay for your content? Do we want to pay for your content? Do we have a Patreon? Do we have all that sort of stuff? And currently, as it stands, we don't have anything, and we don't want to bring you anything just now. And that's just our choice. It's not a dig out to anyone else. It's just our choice. We just feel like, we want to be able to bring you something that would be different if we were to give you some paid content. But right now, it's not for us. It's just we that's the way we feel, and that's nothing against other people. But that's me just letting you know, because we're getting emails left, right, and centre, and some tweets and some Facebook accounts, people asking us about paid content. We don't have anything. Everything is completely free to us, except for, of course, if you want to buy some merchandise, we have mugs. Mugs are on our website, ironsunited.wordpress.com, and then you head to the store and you'll see the mugs we've got on offer, and we may have some cool merchandise coming up soon. The hoodies, don't know what Stell's doing with that. You can always go and mess about with him and see what's available with regards to the hoodies. However, we are here to talk about some daily news, and the daily news today is all about Felipe Anderson, and I'm going to talk to you about what we're expecting to happen, and maybe me making a case for why I like the idea of potentially Anderson coming back. Get your comments in the chat. Of course, subscribe and hit the thumbs up. I'm going to come into the comments and see who's in the chat, and then I'll get started on today's video. But really, thank you very much for joining us. Fresh Fielder, this coming week, April 21st, marks the 35th anniversary of the boys of 86 beating Newcastle United 8-1. Wow. Don't, God, could you imagine? It's funny, I feel like West Ham are due we haven't had a humongous win for such a long time. I'm not saying that this will come this weekend. It's just, you're always long overdue. A really big victory, aren't we? Daniela Stewart, in my mind, it's time for Declan Rice to come clean to the West Ham fans. He's really interested in Man United, or is just paper talk? His contract to 2024. He has to remember that. And I have no doubts for a second that he'll be a West Ham player next season. But that also depends on what West Ham do moving forward. But this isn't about Declan Rice today. Stu77, thank you for joining us. D.A. Crossman, greetings from New Zealand, past my bedtime. Never mind, come on, you Irons. Thank you so much for staying up and watching us and sticking with us. Peach, Irons United, Irons. Peach brother, hope you're well, mate. Thank you for joining us. Peach is in da house. He 100% is. And of course, thank you very much to Russ from My Hammers 11 for passing on the West Ham torch to me today. He does a show. He's been doing a daily show for several months during lockdowns, and we decided really to bring you daily content. His shows are very different to ours. We're bringing you more information on what's happening from the day to day, and he's just having a general chit chat with you all, and it's really cool, and I really like it and get involved, and I've jumped on it a few times. So make sure you go over and subscribe to Russ's channel. There's the link I've put in the chat, words and pictures. Thank you for joining us. Stu77, loving the daily updates, my go-to for everything West Ham and for a good laugh, of course, mate. Thank you very much. Fresh Fielder as well. Michael Hall, afternoon, guys and gals. Anderson to return to Italy. Yuhalito, Caden, Smike, hello, one and all. And if you are new here, I'm recognizing some new names as well. Please nip across to the channel and obviously hit the subscribe button. JB Wits me. I'd like to see Anderson come back. Let's see what Moyes and the boys can do with him. He has a talent in abundance and just needs some guidance and pointing in the right direction. Hope you words. Yeah, do you like the tune? You can tell still that. Tommy, hope you're well, mate. Nice to see you. Dope tune. Yeah, nice and chilled out for a nice sunny day. Well, it's sunny up in Scotland. Bring Felipe home. Well, this is something I'm going to be discussing with you. Toby Sampson, you're in as well. But listen, what I'll do is I'll go into the show today, and then we'll come back into the chat in a second. And like you said, you've seen the title, Anderson to return. He's proven to be a true disappointment for FC Porto since joining them on a season-long loan from West Ham. His efforts under the Porto manager have failed to convince the manager that they are going to launch a bid to retain the winger beyond his temporary contract. And I mean, he's not even been involved in the last, I think it's 7 to 8 squads that Porto have been put out. And if you look at all his times that he's been playing with Porto this season, he's been literally either on the subs bench or in not even made the squad. I think he has made, is it 9 appearances in all competitions for Porto, and only 5 of them have been starts. Now, you can put that down to whatever you think, but there are rumours kicking about that there's some personal issues happening with Felipe Anderson, but we are obviously going to wait and see what happens. West Ham are expected to cash in or try to cash in on Anderson in the summer, and he's now 28 as of today, so happy birthday, Felipe Anderson. He turns 28 today, the 15th of April. He's entering his final 12 months of his £85,000 a week contract in June. So what is going to happen with the man? He's been an outcast at the stadium since his arrival, and the manager, like I said, has only fielded him on 9 occasions across all competitions. He was in line, though, to make more, for more minutes earlier in the season after a brief improvement on his performances, but the spotlight quickly faded and he was sent back to Wilderness. And like I said, he's been omitted from the last, I think it's 6 or 7 squads that Porto have had prior to the international break. And yeah, it's been a tough gig for him. He came from Lazio. West Ham signed him for a record at the time, which was £36 million for a club record signing at the time. And of course, David Moyes maybe faces a huge problem in the summer transfer market, because how much are we going to draw back of that money if we do sell him? And because of his inability to establish himself at the Porto, that's probably seen his market value drop or plummet, you could say. I mean, some people are suggesting £15 million, which is a dramatic downward spiral from where it stood maybe, at the height of his career with West Ham. It's a really tough one. Keep your comments coming in. Of course, he started his career at Santos, where he played over 106 games, scoring 9 goals. He moved to Lazio, where he played over 177 games, 34 goals and 46 assists before making his move to West Ham, where he has played just about 73 games, scoring 12 goals and 11 assists. He's a 2-time Brazilian international, of course, as well. But when it comes to Felipe Anderson, he had a strong debut season for West Ham. He struck 10 goals. He got 5 assists in all competitions under Manuel Pellegrini. But for me, personally, his brightest spell in Claret and Blue came in the winter spell in 2018, where he played in a more central role in behind the talisman at the time, Chicharito. And one particular game that really gave him the freedom to express his ability, his skills at attacking, he challenges, he goes at defenders, etc., was the game against Newcastle, where West Ham won 3-0 away from home. I was at the game as well. It was a fantastic game. And he just played in that central role in behind Chicharito, and the freedom and his ability, he was unstoppable and he was unplayable in that game. And that's where I can see Felipe Anderson potentially growing into his own position. Felipe Anderson's the sort of player that needs his hand round him right now. If rumours are led to be true, there is a lot of problems at home. Then maybe David Moyes is the right manager. I mean, do you really want to cut your losses and just get in £15 million for a player that has the potential to turn it back on again and be a world beater, which he is definitely capable of being? I think there's a couple of players that Pellegrini signed that I would want to keep at West Ham or give another chance, and Felipe Anderson definitely is. I think he's wasted completely out in the wings. I definitely think he's wasted out in the wings. I don't see the point in putting a Felipe Anderson out in the wings because, of course, David Moyes needs people to track back, etc. And Felipe Anderson covers so much more ground. And he, like I said, he can be unplayable when he plays in that central role. And if you look at a lot of the goals he scores for West Ham, they all come from that central position. When in his time for West Ham, I mean, I'm going to bring up an image here of the goal he scored against Manchester United, of course, when we walked away winners in that game. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, there's clubs apparently rumoured to be interested in Felipe Anderson. There's Fiorentina. I mean, it's looking like potentially Italy could be a destination for him to go back to. But do we sell him or do we bring him back? £85,000 a week, 12 months left in his contract. We're not going to give him an extension. Do we try and cut our losses and bring some money back in, or does he have a space in the squad? But for me, personally, I think if we get Felipe Anderson firing on all cylinders, and if we qualify for Europe next year, we're going to need players in the squad, especially who know the team. He says the right stuff. He says, I'm going to go away to Porto. I'm going to work really hard. The manager, we found out since, didn't really want him at Porto. So that probably doesn't help his whole career, and it's literally at a standstill. And I just wonder if David Moyes was to bring him back in and put his arm around him, and West Ham were to put their arm around him, what would we get from a fully fit, fully firing on all cylinders Felipe Anderson? For me, is it worth the risk? Well, yeah. I mean, if you recoup £15 million, what are we going to do with that £15 million? You know, there's another budget there, other players we can sell to generate more of an income. For me, it's worth keeping him to try and see if we can, get something from him. And again, I just want to remind you, when he plays, his best form and time when he was at West Ham was when he played centrally through the middle in behind the striker. Now, I know you can all say to me, we've got Lingard, we've got other options there, but we are potentially, touch wood, if we qualify for any form of European competition, we're going to need a stronger squad. We've got a player in our ranks already that knows the club, who loves the club. He absolutely loves the club. So I'm going to jump into the comments and see what everyone thinks, and we'll go through them there. Jay Woods is saying bring Felipe home. Toby, obviously, yep, that's cool. Happy people. Here we go. Toby Sampson, and this is going to be our top scorer in next season's Champions League. I mean, I think he's only performed once as a substitute for Porto in the Champions League. Of course, they got knocked out the other night, but you never know. It's just jumped. I hate when this happens. It just does it all the time, and it's go all the way back up. Trying to be our here. James Farmer, if he wants to be here and puts the effort in, I'd happily have him back. And I think that's really what it comes down to, James. It's like, do you accept take a massive loss and a massive hit on getting them off the books, saving £85,000 a week, or do you look at the rest of the squad and say we've got other options to sell there and generate some income? And if we get, like I said, a Felipe Anderson firing on all cylinders, there we go. PayPal for donations. What's that, WMP? What's that for? I don't know what that is. Irish Tommy, all talking to each other. Infinite, thank you very much for joining us. Lee and Toby, and you're all talking to each other. Theo, Rice's contract has an extension included until 2025. Irish Tommy, I think we'll be stuck with Anderson, as nobody will want to sign him unless he's very cheap. Moyes will have to find a way to get him firing. And Tommy, I think that is potentially the future for Felipe Anderson. And the point is, can Moyes transform his career and bring him back? I'm very, very confident that he can, and I think that's an option. I really do think that's an option. So it's a good point. Thank you very much, Michael D. Hope you're well. Gary Rutter, you're in the house. Fresh Fielder, I've had a £10 bet with Paddy Power West Ham to win 8-1 and Landbowen to score. Wow, 637-1. There you go. There's your bet for the weekend. Everyone, if you're interested in it. Mandy Gold, hi everyone. Get Anderson back. Who knows? We might get injuries to Jesse and Bowen, and we definitely need options and players that can attack and go at defenders. And that's what he is, and that's why I'm kind of making the option for him. If he has a good preseason and Moyes wants him, then yes, can't bring the team morale and work ethic down, Zach. And I don't think he will, if I'm being brutally honest, especially if he's having problems at home. I really think he's got the capability. He's told the fans the right stuff. He's given us the right things. I love the club. I want to go and work hard and come back, and I'll fight for my position and all that sort of stuff. And it's a bit like, with the Porto loan was just a bit of a weird one, because I would rather have a Felipe Anderson on the bench, a thin squad like we've got, coming off the bench when, games are like Fulham, for example, when we could have got out their defence and we could have brought Felipe Anderson on and we didn't have to draw the game, we could have walked away with the 3 points. So it's definitely a good option. Tommy, if anyone can, it's Moisey. And he demands all his players do the work. I don't care what anyone says. Anderson tracked back. Toby, I do agree with you, actually. There's a couple of games. I think there was a couple of games in his early career that he didn't track back a lot, but I do find that he did. And there's one game just before Project Lockdown when we played Liverpool. We got beat at Anfield. And I couldn't believe what I was listening to on social media when people were slagging off Anderson's performance. He drew so many players away. That's why West Ham were in with a shout in that game. It was a mixture of the Thomas Souček stepping up to the plate. First time we really got to see Thomas Souček play really well. And then Felipe Anderson just kept drawing all the defenders away. They were panicking when he got the ball and got a hold of the ball. And it was a lot of off the ball work that he did, as well as on the ball work in that game. What makes it interesting. Aiden, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much. GP, Anton is Deluxe Paint, Stella's Deluxe Dog, cuddly but needs a lead and a I'm going to screenshot that, mate. 100%. Yeah, bring him back. 97 Irish Tommy, Freshfielder. Not great odds, mate, to be honest. I'm Great Peach, thanks, mate. So you're all talking to each other. Infinite, guys, it seems media is hyping up Declan Rice to the Man United stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I mean, I don't know, how do they get a hold of information saying that Declan Rice has spoken to Harry Maguire, asking him what's it like at Man United? I mean, I mean, if I talk to my mate and say, how's your work? Does that mean I'm interested in joining his work? It doesn't always mean that. And also, how do they know those conversations? It's weird. Mark Gallagher, Lingard, Benrahma, and Anderson with a decent striker could be good. Come on, you Irons. I completely agree with you, mate. DA Crossman, when we qualify for Europe, we'll need to keep all of our quality players. Let's not sell. Absolutely, mate. And I don't see the point in selling for not much. I like that Mark except I've had Bowen or Fornals over Benrahma. JP Andy needs to go back to the Serie A and find his best form. And I think, do you know what? If he goes, he goes. He loves the club, but I do really want him to stay. I think we can find it in him. Peach, I read it this morning. Infinite also read, we're after Celtic striker and Barkley. Well, listen, I want to bring an interesting point before we continue with the comments. I know Stell said in the show yesterday about the transfer shows. We will be doing transfer shows, but with regards to the daily, I think there's a reputable reason why we would bring you some information related to players that are linked to West Ham. Now, that doesn't mean that we are saying that they will come, but it's a little bit like before we enter the world of the transfer shows, we're going to talk to you about what we think is realistic and could they come in. So a little bit like the Edouard potential signing from Celtic. Celtic originally wanted 30 million. It looks like his value's dropped dramatically because they've not been winning the league. They're struggling. Apparently he's got a little bit of an attitude. And he wants to move, and I think he does want to move he has potentially stated that he wants to go to a top 6 club. We could be that top 6 club, but I think the rumour was it was like Celtic or Arsenal or Tottenham or something like that. I actually think he would fit the mould for a striker that Moyes likes as well. So I think we could probably get the deal over the line for something like 12 or 13 million pounds. But the point I'm trying to say to you is, let me know in the comments, would you like us to do a little bit more of the transfer stories? We don't really do a lot of them as well. What's that, Anton? A 20-year-old attacking king midfielder? I don't know what that means, Toby. Yes, bring him back. He may work should we get to Europe, and then need to find out what happens to Lingard before we act on him 100%. Well, yeah, that's true. Hope we're not in for Barkley, Peach. Toby, I could talk about that for another day, but I quite like Barkley, if I'm being honest. Lingard may be able to get the best out of him. SA99, love that. This is the same time as my gym time. I can listen while training. Hope you're well, lads. God, you want to listen to my voice when you train as well. Barkley would be a mental waste of money. Irish Tommy, interesting. I mean, it's funny when you get everyone's opinions, isn't it? Adam Cook, his head's not in the right place. Too much work. Still, I'm bringing someone else in, and he had a first good season, but didn't defend for me. And there's so many different opinions when it comes to Felipe Anderson. Mark Gallagher, they will cause most defence nightmare. Anderson just needs a bit of love and care, and he could be 100%. It could be the right one. Toby, Adam, nobody's going to buy him that will offer anywhere near his wages, bro, so he won't be going anywhere. Our only hope is Moyes can turn him around, and Moyes is the best man for the job, I reckon, and I do agree, mate. Kevin Baring, I would like Anderson to come back. He's got some issue with which Moyes could bring out. The best Anderson could bring is experience of getting to the Champions League or Europe. Daniela, bring him back and wait until the January window where clubs have more money. His fans will be back. They will, but then he's in these 6 months, and he can then go, I think if he's 6 months left in his contract, he can go negotiate with another club. So if it's going to be losing him completely or taking some money, then that's the balance that West Ham have to manage, Gary Rutter, best game Anderson played was against Norwich at home before they got relegated. I mean, I think he's had several good games, if I'm being brutally honest. He was absolutely on fire against Newcastle away. Would be a great squad player if his head was right. Absolutely, mate. Dan Fandango's, people are very quick to forget how good he was in the first season. If you can get his head back in the game and he can adjust to the way Moyes does things, it could be magic, and it could, mate. And that's obviously Dan Fandango's. Go and check out Dan's channel as well. Thanks for joining us, Dan. Lee Vassallo, I'd like him to come back. His head was not right when we'd done him an injustice, in my opinion. Yeah, it looks like that, potentially. But I'll let you in a secret, Peach. I used to say back in his Man United days that I'd pay good money to slap the smirk off Jesse Lingard's face as soon as... I can't repeat that, but you can see the comment on the chat, 97, given the pre-season, to see what you can offer. Yeah, absolutely. God, there's so many comments. I'm going to have to skip because this is supposed to be a short show. If he comes back and Moyes can get him playing well, good, but I can't see it happening. And if his head's in the wrong place, how long will he need to get his head straight? Kent, 50-50 on this, and I think, that's fine. It's everyone's opinion, and I think that's what it's about. I just want to see West Ham give him a shot, because I think if we do get to Europe, it could be we could have a player on our books already who's capable if you put your hands around him and your arms around him. And I think, listen, Moyes is the man. He can do it. He's done it with loads of players before. Why can't he do it with someone like Felipe Anderson? I actually predicted a season ago before this would all happen that I thought Felipe Anderson would be the makeshift new striker that Moyes was going to do. I thought Moyes was going to even bring him further forward, which is what he's doing with Jared Bowen. I genuinely thought that would be the case. Zach Parker, we seem to be looking to offload Lanzini. I wouldn't sell Anderson as well. He's rapid too, let's be honest. We could do with him off the bench right now. I think it would be a great option off the bench, especially if his head's right. That's definitely it. Happy Amaret, thank you for joining us. Mark Taylor, welcome all. If Anderson comes back, Lanzini and Yarmolenko got to go. And yeah, I think, you know what? I don't want Lanzini to go. I just... I've got him there in the heart. I think you all do. But if he goes, I'll wave him off and say, thank you very much for your service. You've done well for the club. You give me some good memories. And Yarmolenko, yeah, I'm disappointed. His injuries have not been great, but it's definitely time to go. And I think he will go as well. Mark Alexander. Anderson's too soft for the Prem, doesn't help defensively and scared to put a foot in England. Impact player at best. But I tell you right now, mate, and sometimes you need impact players in your squad and in your team. Hi, Jake. Hope you're well. It's good to see you. Head across to West Ham Unofficial and, of course, subscribe. It was clear Felipe didn't want to go to Porto, so his loan deal was doomed from the start. His arm was twisted by the club to get his wages off the books for a season. He wants to be at West Ham. He does, mate. But apparently, like I said, there are some issues at home, so hopefully he can get his head right, and that could be it. Could Moyes convert Anderson into a striker? Mark, I've just said it, mate, and I actually said it about a year ago. I was seriously thinking about it. If both Man City and Chelsea reach Champions League final to qualify for the Champions League, we only have to finish above one of Leicester or Liverpool, ignoring Tottenham, Everton, and pray Arsenal don't win the Europa League. Infinite wisdom, Tommy. Maybe Moyes will make Anderson a player we want spot. I genuinely think it's an option. I really do. I've not seen the story of Jesse Lingard from Declan Rice's story. Gary Rutter. We should have brought in Jerry Anderson, who'd done the third part. Mark, it's an interesting idea, but I don't think he's physical enough to deal with centre backs. He's been bullied, in my opinion. The thing is, though, he can, his pace. You think about the goals against Leicester. Our route through them was really over the top when Diop played the ball over the top for Bowen to cross in, and then Masuaku's big ball across. They just couldn't deal with the big balls. It was actually funny, was one time in West Ham's lifetime I was craving West Ham to play the long ball. It was actually against Leicester. Jay Woods, do you think Anderson will honestly stay in the summer, or will Moyes bin him? I don't know, but I think there's an option there for him to stay if he wants to. Ironclad can't succeed in the Scottish League equal to our Championship, but thinks he's worth the top 6 club. I agree. I don't rate the Scottish League. I don't follow it though, so I'm probably coming from I know I live up here and people think, oh, you must follow it. I really don't follow it, so I just go by the whole kind of story of in the past the league's not been that great. However, Edouard does score a lot of goals, shed load of goals, and then all you need to do is look at the players that have left the club and gone to the English Premier League. And Virgil van Dijk's had one, Victor Wanyama when he first left, it was another, and there's other players that have left and gone on to make good careers. And Mark Taylor, you're saying that as well, so I'm just going to skip down loads of comments in here. Ross Cordell, sell Anderson, get as much money as we can ready for the Champions League. I mean, if we get Champions League, we'll get a lot of money in as well. That's the thing. And he's got Champions League experience and he's got European experience. Anderson is good, but a bit lightweight. I'm not to fight the Vietnam War with him on my side. Look, Legend, how are you? And Serif 2, Happy Hammer. Hi, Anton, love the show. I think Anderson deserves another chance with all his personal mental health issues. I think it'd be a revolution once he's back to his best. Before I come to the last couple of comments, let me know, do you want more transfer news? Let us know, and we'll kind of discuss it with Stel. Barry Meikle, worth the risk. If we get a real Felipe back, he's worth more than the player we'd get for the 15 million or so we'd get for buying and selling. 100%, mate. Anderson has all the talent. Hope his head's right. Lingard has been helping everyone up front. Why not? Moyes is a good mentor. SA99. And Neil B. Anderson has been quoted as saying that he'd play for West Ham with a different manager. Now he's not going to happen. Get rid. Interesting, really interesting points. Good to have you all in and engaging with the chat. That's been our West Ham Daily today. Of course, if you haven't already, go and subscribe to our channel. And then when you go to subscribe to our channel, there's a little bell notification as well. That will then alert you to any of the videos we're going to be putting out on a regular basis. Kent is coming in saying Edouard scores goals in Scotland, but Haller would get 30 up there. It's true. It's true. Anderson is unknown and not sure anyone will pay money for him. So yeah, today is Thursday. Tomorrow, Stel will be back for another West Ham Daily. So he's working on something. He says it's going to be a pretty cool show as well. So make sure you tune into that. And then that will take us tomorrow night. We will be bringing you a preview on a Friday night, and that will be, I don't know the time that will be coming out yet. So please keep an eye on. We'll have an opposition fan on, and then we'll be doing the match day live on a Saturday early afternoon kickoff as well. So it will be an interesting to be back on a Saturday, of course. Vinny Anderson might respond good to good cop, bad cop. Might need to get a real psycho for a bad cop. Words and pictures. Yeah, we've got Stuart Pearce though. He could do the job with you, Anton. He did defend. I'd like to see him with Lingard and revitalise the Bowen. And now there's Tommy's given us the Hammers Cross. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. I've been Anton. This is the West Ham Daily Show. Will Anderson return to West Ham, or will West Ham look to cut their losses and try and sell them for any form of money? Get your comments in, let us know, hit thumbs up, and thank you for joining me. Come on, you Irons.